Hi, and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to use the if workflow node. Workflows are used to automate your apps further, like sending out notifications, setting time-bound behavior, or even connecting with external platforms. There is a separate video on how workflows work. It is linked in the description. This video will focus on using the if workflow node. Use the if workflow node to check for conditions or certain criteria in your submissions. So let's go ahead to the example. This is an app that I've created to keep track of incoming stock for inventory management. I can just select an option. If it's a new product, I can select new item, fill in the details, and then submit. Or if it's for an existing item, then I can select item update, select the existing item, fill in the new stock detail, and then submit. Now this is just simple submissions. But what if I need to send out notifications to relevant teams on the stock arrivals? So if it's a new item, I should notify one team, and if it's an item update, then another team should be notified. For this, we can use the if workflow node. I'll go to Design App. You can see all the earlier fields from the app. Once you've created your app structure, you can go to step 3, that is workflows. Then click on Add Step, and here you can use the if workflow node. This node is used to check for conditions or certain criteria in your submissions. And based on that, you can run further workflow nodes. Like I mentioned, I want to send out a notification. So I can set the condition in the if node and then add an email node after. So first I'll select the if node and I can configure this node on the right hand panel. Under conditions, you can implement logics or conditions similar to spreadsheet. So let me take an example of a condition that I'm going to set. So in the app, if I select new item, fill in the details and submit, then I would like to send out an email notification to some team. So in the workflow, here for the condition, I can type in @select equals to new item. This select variable name is for this field. If I go to Design App, you can see the select field with its corresponding variable. And I'm checking for the condition if select equals to new item. Now I'll click on Save. You can also change the step name if you wish. And now I'll click on Save. The condition is now set. Based on this condition, I would like to send out an email notification. So under this node, I'll click on the email node and again configure this on the right hand panel, just like a regular email. For the sake of example, I'll be giving my email to see if we received the email notification based on the condition. Again, there is a separate video on how to configure the email node. You can check it out. It is linked in the description. I have set the subject and body for the email. Now I'll click on Save. I don't need any further configurations from this node. So let's test this out. I'll go to App Home. If I select new item, fill in the details and submit, I should receive the email. I filled in some random details. I click on Submit. You can view your submissions under the Submissions tab. I should have received the email, so I'll go to my inbox. I have received the email. Now this was just to check for a simple condition if the selected option is new item. But what if I select item update and let's say based on this product, I should send it to another team. So now here we have two conditions to check for. One is that it should be an item update and the other one is to check for the brand. So going back to workflows, I can add another one by clicking on the Start node and select the If node. Now keep in mind that the If node will only check if the conditions are true. If they are true, it will run the remaining workflow nodes underneath it. If the conditions are not met, it will not run. If you want to run workflows, if the conditions are not met, you will have to add another If node to check for that condition. So coming to the example. Now under conditions, I can use the AND function to check for both the conditions. So I'll type in and in brackets, check if select is item update and if the brand is Dell. Now here, there are two of them, so I can simply go to the Design App just to make sure. So under the item update section, the brand make field has this variable name. So I'll select the first option, equals to Dell. You can change the step name and I'll save this. Now based on this condition, I can send out an email notification to another team. So I click on the plus button and then add the email node. For the sake of example, I will use my own email ID. I'll speed this up. Now let's test this out. I'll go to App Home. Now if I select Item Update, select the item and click on Submit, I will receive the email notification. Since I've selected Item Update and the brand is Dell, I have received the email, as you can see over here. You can also perform calculations to check for certain criteria. For example, for an existing item, if the current stock is 2 and if I add the new stock but the levels are still below a certain amount, then send out a notification. So going back to workflows, I'll add another if node, and in the conditions, I will check for the total stock, which would be current stock plus new stock. If it is less than 15, then send out an email. I'll go to App Home to test it. Click on Item Update. Let's say I select this item. Give the new stock as 10. Now the total will be 12, which is less than 15. It should automatically calculate it and send me the email. I have received that email, and I have also received another email as per our previous configuration. Now I have used the if workflow node along with the email node. You can add simultaneous workflows. For example, if I want to send a mobile notification along with an email, I can do that. Or if I want to wait for some time and send out an approval or a Teams notification, that's also possible. It depends on your requirements. This was just a simple example to show you how the if workflow node can work. Now keep in mind that this was all based on new submissions. So anytime a new submission is made in App Home, it'll trigger the workflows under new submission flow. If you make any changes after submission, such as you go to the submissions tab, open a submission and make the changes over here on the right panel, and then you want to check for conditions, then under the edit submission flow, you can check for the condition and follow it up with the rest of the workflow nodes. Similarly, we have review submission flow. If you are changing the status of a submission, let's say to approved or rejected, and based on those conditions, you want to run further workflows, then you can add the if node here and so on. So in this way, you can use the if workflow node to check for conditions or certain criteria in your submissions. And based on that, run the rest of your workflows. If you have any query on how to configure the if workflow node or on any other feature in Clapia, you can always request support by clicking on the button over here, or you can email us directly to support@clapia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.